Is this heaven?
No.
Is it H-E double hockey sticks?
Hell? 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 Hell?
Pete Docter has made 3 modern classics for Pixar: Inside Out, Up, and Monsters, Inc. So when we say his latest film Soul is merely good instead of great, is to judge it against a truly exemplary filmography for any director.
I'm not done! Holy! Oh my goodness!
But Soul feels more formulaic, predictable, and safely played than Docter's past films. There's still a lot of heart and beauty to enjoy about Soul, but a film that wants to ruminate on the meaning of life invites fiercer scrutiny than the usual animated family film might. And Soul is not your usual animated family film.
Hey, Dorothea, this is the cat I was telling you about. My old middle school band teacher, Mr. Gardner.
Call me Joe, Dorothea. Miss Williams. It's a pleasure.
Instead, this is much more a study of a middle-aged man having an existential crisis thanks to a near-death experience. A 40-something part-time music teacher in the New York City school system who's never caught his big break as a jazz pianist, he's not even looking for fame and fortune, just a spot at playing at a local club with one of his faves, isn't exactly the type of protagonist kids usually get in a genre populated by spunky heroines and mischievous misfits. But parents, or adult viewers in general, may see part of themselves in protagonist Joe Gardner and his unobtained hopes and dreams.
You got a suit? Get a suit, Teach. A good suit. Back here tonight, first show's at 9, sound checks at 7. We'll see how you do.
The film is about 2 souls, Joe, who doesn't want to die, and 22, who is already world-weary without ever having lived, so doesn't even want to be born. They appear to be mismatched partners, but end up helping each other learn important lessons along the way. But while Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey acquit themselves well in their respective voice roles, Joe's character development is ultimately short-shrifted in service of 22's emotional growth and journey. Yet neither character is as engaging, humorous, or dynamic as other Pixar protagonists. Spiritual without being overtly religious, Soul's The Great Before is as bright and rigidly organized as an Apple store. And with its emphasis on installing features and programming products for delivery, there is a commerce-like quality to it all. In an almost robotic fashion, counselors, all named Jerry, arbitrarily assign personalities to souls before sending them on their way to be born as children. But if the theory is that genetics, environment, and life experience play no real part in the formation of making us who we are, then Soul's emphasis on finding the spark that will brighten your life on Earth seems misguided, or at least its notion of predeterminism not terribly well thought out. All those souls made apathetic at the whim of some counselor seemingly have the deck stacked against them from the get-go, which is a depressing thought.
Don't worry, you can't crush a soul here. That's what life on Earth is for.
Soul's message seems to be, find joy in being made an iPhone 4S instead of a 12 Pro Max, and stop looking for that upgrade. This movie brought to you by people living their dreams as filmmakers. The Great Before and Great Beyond may give Soul its fantastical bent, but it's so safe and agnostic in its depiction and messaging that it often makes these realms feel, well, less than spirited. And it's near impossible to compare Soul to Coco, Pixar's better, more vibrant, musical, and meaningful look at life and death, which provokes a deeper and more resonant emotional response than anything Soul conjures. Even when weighing Soul against Pete Docter's own films, nothing here is as tear-jerking or cathartic as Bing Bong's farewell in Inside Out or the opening 10 minutes of Up. Docter seems apprehensive to really push viewers' buttons this time as much as we know he can, making Soul a muddled mishmash of glum acceptance of one's limitations and enjoy-the-moment gift card sentimentality. The divide between body and soul actually ends up being a key part of Soul, so it's noteworthy that the story is stronger and more distinct when it comes to the specificity of the corporeal living world than it is in imagining an other world devoid of culture and art and family, all of which could arguably make Joe Gardner who he is more than whatever he was programmed with before he was born. Soul feels most alive, or at least more like its own movie, when it comes back down to earth. Its depiction of New York's jazz scene and of Joe's normal world is vividly realized, with some truly amazing, near photorealistic rendering of characters and settings. If anything, Soul would have benefited from even more exploration of Joe's everyday world and what and who he's attached to in it in order to make his character arc all the more rewarding by the end.
Is all this living really worth dying for?
As high-minded and celestial as its aspirations are, Soul never quite reaches the heights, storytelling or emotional, of past Pixar films. A sort of animated riff on Heaven Can Wait, Soul is stronger when it comes to exploring Joe Gardner's earthbound life, one of jazz, family, and community, than it does in its more muddled handling of the world beyond, or is that before, ours. There's some truly gorgeous animation on display here, particularly in its depiction of New York and Joe's daily life, a fair amount of great music, and a lot of philosophical musings to ponder, even if they run into depressing fatalistic dead ends. But while Soul offers food for thought and has heart, it's never quite as funny, engrossing, or emotionally rewarding as Pixar's best. For more reviews, keep it locked here at IGN.